Okay, continuing where I left off on Matthew 47. And, no, yeah, 47. As he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12 apostles, came up with him. A great crowd with swords and gloves from the chief priests and elders of the people. 48. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, "The one I shall kiss is the man. Seize him." Yeah, the emotion has subsided a little, but it's so heartbreaking rereading that. I mean, my soul still feels like it's being torn. And he came up to Jesus at once and said, "Hail, greetings, good health to you, long life to you." Hail, that's what hail means. Greeting, good health to you, long life to you. Master, and embraced him and kissed him with pretended warmth and devotion. That takes some balls. 50. Jesus said to him, "Friend, for what are you here?" Then they came up and laid hands on Jesus and arrested him. 51. And behold, one of those who were with Jesus reached out his hand, drew his sword, and, striking the body servant of the high priest, cut off his ear. 52. Then Jesus said to him, "Put your sword back in its place, for all who drew the sword will die by the sword." 53. Do you suppose that I cannot appeal to my Father, and he will immediately prove me with more than 12,000 legions? More than 80,000 of angels. More than 12 legions of angels. More than 80,000 angels. But how then would the scriptures be fulfilled that it must come about this way? 55. At that moment Jesus said to the crowds, "Have you come out with swords and clubs, as you would against a robber to capture me? Day after day I was accustomed to sit in the porches and courts of the temple teaching, and you did not arrest me. But all this has taken place in order that the scripture of the prophets might be fulfilled, that all the disciples deserted him and fleeing escaped. But those who had seized Jesus took him away to Caiaphas the high priest, where the scribes and the elders had assembled. But Peter followed him at a distance, as far as the courtyard of the high priest's home. He even went inside and sat with the guards to see the end. 59. Now the chief priest and the whole council, the Sanhedrin, sought to get false witnesses to testify against Jesus, so that they might put him to death. 60. But when they found none, though many witnesses came forward to testify, at least 2 men came forward and testified. This fellow said, "I am able to tear down the sanctuary of the temple of God and to build it up again in 3 days." And the high priest stood up and said, "Have you no answer to make? What about this and these men testify against you?" 63. But Jesus kept silent, and the high priest said to him, "I call upon you to swear by the living God, and tell us whether you are the Christ, the Son of God." Jesus said to him, "You have stated the fact. More than that, I tell you, you will in the future see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of the Almighty and coming on the clouds of the sky." 65. Then the high priest tore his clothes and exclaimed, "He had uttered blasphemy! What need have we to further exceed? You have now heard his blasphemy. 66. What do you think now? They answered. He deserves to be put to death. 67. Then they spat in his face and struck him with their fists, and some slapped him in the face, saying, Prophesy to us, you Christ the Messiah. Who was it that struck you? Now Peter was sitting outside in the courtyard, and one maid came up to him and said, You were also with Jesus the Galilean. But he denied it falsely before them all, saying, I do not know what you mean. 71. And when he had gone out the porch, another maid saw him and said to the bystanders, This fellow was one with Jesus the Nazarene. 72. And again he denied it and disowned him with an oath, saying, I do not know the man. 73. After a little while, the bystanders came up and said to Peter, You certainly are one of them too, for even your accent betrays you. 74. Then Peter began to invoke a curse on himself and swear, I do not even know the man. And at that moment, a rooster crowed. 75. And Peter remembered Jesus' words. When he had said before a single rooster crows, You will deny and disown me 3 times. And he went outside and wept bitterly. I'll add the footnotes in with this one too, my brothers and sisters. I was going to combine them, but I think I will keep them separate because this one's like 7 minutes long now, and the other one is... let's see, how long is the other one? Being webcam. And that one's 15 minutes, yeah, so... Yeah, I'll keep them separated, so... Because otherwise I won't be able to put it on Facebook, so... Alright, my brothers and sisters, we're getting at the end. We're almost at the end of Matthew. Alright, peace be in you. May God bless you. I love you, my brothers and sisters. God bless.